KP has really been playing average, even though he's a $100 million player. There's a lot of players making $100 million in the league that are not stars, that are not on the court, that don't show passion. So Luka was basically out there by himself the whole series, and he is great. But in order to win a series, you need more. You need your whole team. You need other players to step up. You can do that in regular season. You can't do that in the playoffs. Kudos and props to Ty Lue. He made some great adjustments, and the supporting cast from the Clippers team really stepped up in Game 6 and 7. So you got to give props to them for stepping up and stepping up to the challenge to get the job done.
Stack, you mentioned the adjustment that they made that late in the ball game. They said, we're going to get the ball out of Luka's hands. We're going to make his role players. We're going to make Hardaway Jr. We're going to make Finney-Smith. We're going to make Kleber. We're going to make someone other than Luka beat us. And for whatever reason, Rick Carlisle seemed to be unwilling to do that in Game 6 because he let Kawhi operate one-on-one for the entirety of the fourth quarter, even though he saw Kawhi had it going. Okay, once I see a guy got it going, no, I'm going to get the ball out your hands. I'm going to make these other guys. And last night, the other guys did do it. Even though Kawhi had it going, you look at Marcus Morris, tied Steph Curry for the most made threes in a Game 7. You look at Reggie Jackson. Terrence Mann had 13 big points in the first half. Nicholas Batum was putting the ball on the floor, going to the rim, dunking it. I said, when did he turn into Dominique Wilkins? Luke Kennard had 3 DMPs, Stacks, and all of a sudden he comes in, hits 3 of 5 threes. And that's the difference in the ball game. You mentioned it. I know what Luka's going to give me. He gave me 35 and a half, 10.3, and 8 rebounds. I know that. Okay, what about the other guys? Yesterday, he and Finney-Smith, 9 of 18 from 3. Everybody else not named Luka and Finney-Smith, 1 of 18 from 3. You're not beating this team. The Clippers got back yesterday what they had been all year. They were the best three-point percentage shooting team. They proved that yesterday. They were the best free throw percentage shooting team
in history.
So they proved that.
In history.
So when you need, so Stack, you know what I'm saying? When you need something, can I call on it? Well, they needed those threes yesterday. They needed that free throw percentage, and they were able to get it. So for me, it was all about the role players because I know Kawhi. Kawhi was sensational in this, with the exception of maybe one game skipped the fourth quarter. He missed a couple of shots, but he was sensational. Game 6. You won't find very many playoff performances better than Kawhi's Game 6. But Luka was toe for toe with him. But Luka's supporting cast didn't give him the kind of backup singing that Kawhi's did.
Not at all.
Okay, back to my man, Steven Jackson, who makes a very profound point. Steven is saying he wasn't that impressed because the Clippers finally did what they should have done to start with.
Right.
Well, that was my point from the start. I was out of my mind sitting in this seat because they blew Game 1 and they blew Game 2 at home. The Clippers are the best team in the West. I told you this all year. Jeff Van Gundy kept saying they're the most talented team in the West. They're the deepest team in pro basketball to me. They're deeper than even the Nets are. But they didn't play that way in Games 1 and 2. And early in Game 3 on that fateful Friday night, they fall behind 30-11 before a madhouse sellout crowd in Dallas as the Mavericks are making every three they look at. That they made 35 of 73s in the first 2 games at Staples, and then they go home and make 20 in Game 3. No team in the history of this league has ever lost a home playoff game making 23s, but they did. Because the Clippers finally said, that's enough. Watch this. And it started with Kawhi, and Pandemic P went along for the ride. And he had some bad stretches, but he did a whole lot of good stuff.
Right.
Because when it comes to making free throws, assisting the basketball, rebounding the basketball, he does a lot of dirty work for that team that is irreplaceable.
Especially the last 2 games.
Because he is talented.
Yeah.
You can rip and slash him all you want. You can ridicule him. But even yesterday, when he went 1 for 9 in the second half, if you look at the overall numbers, he made all 10 of his free throws and had 10 rebounds, or I'm sorry, 10 assists.
10 assists.
Right?
10 assists,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's gold in a Game 7. So in the end, these Clippers showed me some true grit I didn't think they had. They actually showed me some heart and some guts and some stamina I did not think they had, because the world ridicules them as the ugly stepchildren living down in the basement of Staples Center. Yet yesterday at Staples, I thought they turned into the Lakers, because everything that they did at the highest level during the regular season came to fruition yesterday.
Right.
They were the best three-point shooting team, and they outshot Dallas 20-10 from three. That'll work.
Yep.
And they're the best free throw shooting team in the history of the league. And look what they did. They were plus 13 at the free throw line. Well, that's plus 43 points from three and free throws. That's who they are and what they did yesterday. So it wore me out. I'm still exhausted this morning from they're the most frustrating team to watch that I've ever tried to figure out. But in the end, they look like a team that can win it all, to me.
Stacks, let me ask you.
They found the identity. You know, it's never too late to have things start to click, Shannon and Skip. It's never too late. The playoffs, anything can happen. And when your team starts to click, the playoffs is the perfect time. I think they're starting to find their identity. I think guys are starting to find their roles when they're going to get their shots. But this is the perfect time. And with Ty Lue being a coach and a champion, he understands the adjustments you have to make round by round. It's a different level of basketball each round of basketball. And it doesn't matter how tough the first round was. When you get out of it, it's about round two. Don't even worry about the first round.
Yep.
Stacks, how tall are you? 6'8"?
6'7" and a half, 6'8".
Okay, check this out. So if you're 6'7", and you got a 5'9" guy playing behind you, why the hell are you shooting threes? Why when you get on the block? Kristaps Porzingis is 7'3" tall. Kawhi, Batum, Paul George, Marcus Morris plays behind him, but he wants to hover around the three-point line. Get your tall butt down on the block and turn around and shoot over the top of them. Why was that so hard for him? They keep calling unicorn. There's nothing unique about Kristaps Porzingis. He's 7'3", and he plays like a two guard that's 6'3", that wants to shoot three-pointers.
Yeah, 13,000 points is not a lot scored to some people, but to me it was a lot. And I wouldn't have had the success offensively. I wouldn't have had in my career if Steve Smith wouldn't have told me my third career. Yeah, my third year in my career, you can shoot threes, but you're gonna have to get on that block to be successful and have a successful career. And he told me that, and I was a two guard, so I was bigger than a lot of two guards at 6'8", Shannon.
Right.
So he's 7 foot. You got to expose guys, or you got to take advantage of your size, and KP is definitely not doing that.
He's a big guy that plays small. That's the worst thing that you can have is a guy that's tall that plays small because he's 7'3". They playing behind him. Nicholas Batum is playing behind him. Nick Batum has got to be 6'8", so he's giving up 6-7 inches, and he's out there jacking up threes. He comes down on a fast break. Yeah,
play Boban. He was dunking and diving just like a big man was supposed to.
Big Bobby outplayed him. Big Bobby don't play a whole lot. He only played mop-up minutes, and Bobby outplayed Porzingis. He ought to be ashamed of himself.
So is it possible that Kawhi Leonard truly is the best two-way player in basketball? Because he sure showed you that, especially in the last two games, right?
He played unbelievable.
Look at the 7-game numbers. He shot 61% from the floor. That's impossibly great. He shot 43% from three over 7 games. He shot 90% from the free throw line. Those are numbers only Kareem has put up over a 7-game series. Only Kareem.
Wow.
Okay? And he took Luka when it was time to take Luka.
He was special. But the luxury that Kawhi had is that he still had a number 2 guy in Paul George. Now, Paul didn't play particularly well, especially the last 2 games, Skip. He shot terrible from the floor, 6 of 15, 5 of 15.
Yep.
But as you mentioned, he did other things, 13 rebounds Friday night, 10 assists yesterday. But his role players, see, Luka, Paul George could handle the ball. Reggie Jackson could handle the ball. Rondo came in and did some of the handling. So did PG. Who else besides Luka? And you know this, Stack. After a while, you start playing 40, 42, 45 minutes, and you always on the ball. You're the only one that can get them in and out of sets. It's going to take its toll on you, and it's starting to wear him down. They started to trap him. They started blitzing him, getting the ball out of his hands, and say, you know what? Let's see if Hardaway can make the shots in the fourth quarter that he made in the first quarter. Let's see if Kleber, let's see if he can have another game. Skip, you talked about that in the first game. Let's see if he can do that again. Let's see what Porzingis could do. And they couldn't. So Luka, 37, 35, and Skip, I don't know if you noticed this, Luka Doncic has the highest scoring playoff average in NBA history. Higher than you know who. The guy that you call the GOAT. That's what Luka is right now, Stack Jack. The highest scoring playoff average in history.
All I know is
what a lot
that
of people not talk about, excuse me, Skip, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what a lot of people not saying is one thing I love about Kawhi that he understands. You're not going to stop nobody in the NBA. This is why I consider myself a good defender. But you got to make it difficult.
Yes.
They're going to get their points. But if you make it difficult for them and wear them down, that's a great defender. Nobody's shutting nobody down in NBA.
No.
You just got to make it difficult for them. And Kawhi gets that. He gets that. And that's what makes him a great defender.
Only Kawhi bothered him.
Yep.
He's the only guy
He was.
because he's so long and quick and shrewd that he'd get a hand up.